right, let's talk about something that's, well, it's pretty much invisible, but it impacts every single thing we do online. I'm talking about cybersecurity's talent gap. We're going to dive into what it really takes to find and, maybe more importantly, keep the elite defenders who are protecting our entire digital world.
And that right there, that's not an exaggeration. I mean, really think about it. Just one breach, and suddenly our financial systems, our power grids, everything could be disrupted. It's kind of crazy, but our whole modern society really does depend on these unseen digital guardians. Okay, so we're talking about this silent front line. But here's the thing. It's facing a massive crisis. There's this huge, growing mismatch between the threats coming at us and the number of people we have to actually defend against them. And look, this isn't just some HR problem or a workforce issue. This is about global security. Seriously. And this pretty much shows you the whole problem in one picture. On one side, you have cyber threats just skyrocketing. They're faster, more automated than ever before. And on the other side, the supply of skilled defenders just hasn't kept up. That gap you see, that's a massive vulnerability for all of us. We're talking about millions, literally millions of unfilled cybersecurity jobs all over the world. Just think about it. Every time you connect a new smart device, every time another part of our life goes digital, we're basically opening up a new door for attackers. And we just don't have enough guardians to watch all those doors. So why? Why is this happening? If we're ever going to find a solution, we first have to really get to the bottom of it. And believe me, it's a lot more complicated than just a simple labor shortage.
Yeah, that's the big question, isn't it? Why is this gap getting wider and wider, especially when the need is so crystal clear? Well, the answer, it really comes down to the unique nature of the job itself.
You see, being a top-tier cyber defender, it's not just about being good with computers. It's this really rare mix of skills. You need insane technical depth, of course, but you also need to be cool under pressure, like immense pressure. You have to have this rock-solid ethical mindset. And on top of all that, you need to be a super creative problem solver. Finding all of that in one person, yeah, that's tough. It's really all about a certain kind of mindset. You have to think like a scientist, digging into the data. You have to think like an investigator, following the clues. And sometimes you have to ethically think like a criminal, just to figure out what they're going to do next. You know, you can teach the technical stuff, but teaching that mindset, that takes a whole lot more time and effort. Okay, so if these people are so incredibly hard to find, how in the world do we get better at actually recruiting them? Well, it's going to take a complete shift in how we think about it. The old way just isn't cutting it anymore. You know, posting on job boards, only looking for people with specific university degrees, it's failing us. The new way is about looking in totally different places. We're talking about hackathons, military veterans who are already trained for discipline under fire, and even those self-taught programmers who just have this raw passion for breaking things and then building them back stronger. And that's the key right there. We have to start looking beyond the resume. A piece of paper can't tell you how someone's going to act when the pressure is on. It can't show you their real passion for solving puzzles. It's about potential, not just pedigree. But okay, let's say you find that raw potential. Now what? Well, the next challenge is turning that potential into real, battle-hardened expertise. This is where the real work of forging a defender truly begins. And there is absolutely no way you can do this with just a textbook. The threats out there are changing every single day. Look, theory is important, but it's pretty much useless if you don't have that practical, hands-on experience that feels just like the chaos of a real attack. So, the best training is this constant cycle. You start with super realistic simulations. Think of it like this. You have a red team that acts like the bad guys trying to break in, and a blue team that has to defend everything. This lets them make mistakes and learn from them in a totally safe environment. They get to test their skills under real pressure and just keep getting better. It's basically a flight simulator, but for cyber defense. All right, now we get to what might be the hardest part of this whole thing. You've done all this work. You've found the talent, you've trained them, you've forged them into these elite defenders. So how do you keep them? How do you win the battle against burnout? And check this out. The risk of burnout in cybersecurity is actually higher than in most medical and emergency professions. Just let that sink in for a second. The stress, the crazy high stakes, the fact that you have to be on guard 24/7, it takes a huge personal toll. These folks are guarding everything we do online, and most of the time, no one even knows they're there until something goes wrong. So you might think, just pay them more. But here's the thing. A huge salary isn't enough to keep the best people. I mean, yeah, compensation matters, obviously, but what really makes them stay is a deep sense of purpose, a team they can count on, and feeling respected for the incredibly important work they're doing. When it comes right down to it, the best defense against burnout is culture. It's about building a place where learning new skills is something you get to do, not something you have to do. A place where mental health support is taken seriously, and maybe most importantly, a place where managers get that failure isn't the end of the world. It's actually one of the best ways to learn and get stronger. So as we wrap this up, I want you to remember something. We hear a lot about AI and automation, and they're great. But at the end of the day, they're just tools. The future of security isn't going to be defined by machines alone. It's going to be defined by the people behind them, the human defenders who can outthink, outmaneuver, and outlast any threat thrown at them. And that kind of brings us full circle, doesn't it? Being one of these defenders, it's not just a job, it's a massive responsibility. And right now, the world is desperately looking for that next generation of guardians. So, I'll just leave you with this question to think about. As our world gets more and more digital, who is going to step up and defend our future? Because the need for these guardians has never, ever been greater. The answer really is simple. The solution is human. We have to invest in people if we want to protect our future. Because in the end, our greatest defense isn't going to be the technology we build. It's the people we empower to stand behind it.